you want some burgers? You know, for the last several weeks, we've been talking about where to get great restaurant burgers. But the weather's getting nice, the sun's out. You might be thinking, how do I make a great cheeseburger at home? So this week on the Cheeseburger Show, we're gonna do exactly that. We're gonna find out how to get great ingredients, grilling tips from Gary Wiviett, and we're gonna make one awesome burger with Chef Graham Elliott Bowles. You're watching the Cheeseburger Show.
Okay, making a cheeseburger is not brain surgery, but there is an art form, and by asking the right questions, you can turn your burgers from good to I'm drooling all over myself now, you just can't see it. Step 1. Buying the meat. This is Otto Demke from Gephardt's Meat Market in Lincoln Park. We decided to pick his brain about buying burgers.
When people come in and they buy burger meats, they just say, give me some ground beef. But there's a lot more to that than just saying, I want ground beef, right?
Well, sure. If you want to make a good burger, you want something that has a certain amount of fat in it, and that's where the flavor is going to be. So chuck being the most common for a good tasting burger, I think that's where you want to go. This is a pretty good example of ground chuck, about 85% lean right here.
Do you want something that's more on the pinkish side, or do you want something that's really red?
You definitely want something that's red. Well, this has a nice it has a nice color, I think. It's a red, but it's not too pale. You don't want something that's a dark red. That could be indicating that it's come from, as we used to say, cow meat. You also don't want something when you pick it up that's got dark in the inside. That means it's been ground for a while. When you're grinding hamburger or anything else for that matter, if you pack it too tight, because the meat is packed tight, it will darken.
So you're saying ground chuck is a cheaper cut of meat than ground sirloin, but yet it's tastier and has more flavor than sirloin.
Right.
That's the secret.
So if you take a sirloin steak, it's going to taste better than a chuck steak, but only because it's more tender, not necessarily more flavorful.
They want to sound like a real expert, and if they want to buy a burger, they should say, give me ground chuck, give me something that's got a lot of marbling in it, maybe 85%, 85-15, and that should set them on their way.
That should do well for them, yeah. They should be happy with that.
Say hello to Gary Wiviett. He knows more about grilling than anybody else in Chicago. He's compiled his wisdom into a new book, Low and Slow, Master the Art of Barbecue in 5 Easy Lessons. And when it comes to making burgers on the kettle grill, Gary doesn't fool around.
What's your philosophy when it comes to grilling burgers?
Well, the main thing that people do, they like people with any type of cookery, they like to futz. They like to press on the burger, they like to squeeze the juices out of the burger. You want to put the burger on the grill, you want to leave it the hell alone and just let it cook. Let it cook for 3 or 4 minutes, depending on the size of the burger. And also what happens if you try to move it too early, the proteins are sticking, the burgers stick to the grill. And after 3 or 4 minutes, the proteins in the meat, they contract and they'll actually release from the grill. So if you try to move it too early, you'll end up with pieces of burger sticking to the grill. What I do is I grill them, but I use a little bit of apple wood to impart a nice smoke flavor. And you don't want to overpower, you don't want to use too much apple wood, but a little bit will really put a nice applewood smoke flavor into the cheeseburgers. It just gives it a little touch of smoke, and it's really delicious.
Let's look at these patties right here. Now, you like to use a mixture of chuck and bison. Tell me why you do that.
Well, I think bison has a very full, meaty flavor, but it's lean to use by itself. And I like a rich, fatty burger. So the chuck, which is in this case is 20%.
By 20%, you mean 20% fat content to 80% lean meat.
Exactly. Thank you. Almost like a dry-aged steak. When you eat a dry-aged steak, you get that minerally kind of like little flavor of mineral and beefiness. That's what the bison imparts to the burger. Just adds another layer of flavor to the burgers. Don't pack it tightly at all. You want to work it as little as possible. When you overwork the burger, it gets a very tight feel to it.
Gary, one of the things I've noticed is that these burgers have a little dimple in them. Can you explain to me why you did this?
Well, the dimple is when the burgers cook, the heat rises and the burgers have a tendency to puff as they contract and cook. So if you don't put the dimple in, you get a rounded top. And it's hard to put the condiments on, it's hard to put the cheese on. And with the dimple, it'll rise just even.
That's phenomenal, Gary. Can I live here? Will you adopt me, Gary, please?
Absolutely.
This guy to my right here, 4-star chef Graham Elliott Bowles, and we have issued you a challenge. We have come to this Jewel Osco on the corner of State and Ohio, and we're going to buy a bunch of ingredients, whatever ingredients you want.
Yes.
And we want you to construct the Graham Elliott burger. Are you up to this challenge?
Yes, sir. Definitely. Very excited.
Let's go inside.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Well, the idea is to kind of bridge two worlds, right? We're gonna do breakfast as well as the burger. So we're gonna do a chicken fried burger that's going to be topped with some tomato as well as a little ragu of mushroom and caramelized onion. And that's gonna be served with the Texas toast that's gonna be buttered and cooked up on the griddle and finished with Tabasco ketchup and a sausage mayonnaise. We're gonna actually use some of the rendered fat to drizzle into the egg to make the mayo and then fold in some of the chunky sausage. So this is extremely healthy, really low cholesterol, low fat, you know, kind of approach to it. A little more of a California mentality.
You're a madman. You're crazy.
We try.
Let's do it.
All right.
What are your thoughts?
I think that came out pretty yummy. Looks nice and cheesy and eggy. There's some goodies in there hidden, and I'm pretty psyched to try it out. Now, if only there was a way that we could take this sandwich, this burger, and re-batter it and fry the whole thing.
Let's do it. Where's the panko? Holy God. Wow, we're like
I know.
kitty kids. Oh my God.
That is pretty yummy.
And that about does it for us here at the Cheeseburger Show. Be sure to read us in the pages of the Chicago Tribune. And if you know of a burger we absolutely have to check out, send us a note at mail@cheeseburgershow.com. Thanks for watching. Almost like blues music. You've got your 3 basic chords, which is bun, cheese, and meat. Sometimes you have the cheese. And from there you can go in a number of different directions.
Absolutely, but unlike the blues, when you have burgers, your woman and your dog are never going to leave you.